You're watching Newsmakers. I like to have authors on. Last week we had John Burgess, who wrote Bombing Harvey. Actually, he and his dad and his brother blew up Harvey's casino. We had so many comments on that show with John Burgess. And in a couple weeks we're going to have Jim Burgess on, the younger brother. See who really blew up Harvey's. John Burgess and Jim Burgess both went to Clovis High, as did our engineer Sean. I went to Clovis High. And so did today's guest, Amber Fry, who wrote Witness for the Prosecution of Scott Peterson. Great book, by the way.
Thank you.
And you went to Clovis High School.
I did.
Can you say what year? You don't have to.
1993.
I was in 77, 1977. What year were you, Sean? 97, you were
93.
You guys might have been there at the same time. Any recollection? Freshman and senior, maybe? I don't know. Clovis High is a great tradition and great community. When I went to Clovis High, there was only one high school in Clovis, so that's how long.
I know. There's a handful.
Whole bunch of them. There was no internet either.
Nope.
In fact, Clovis High School was a one-lane road, Fowler Avenue. It was a very narrow little road in those days, and there were no houses around it. So, Amber Fry, we've been kind of going over the history of the case, and we're up to now Scott Peterson. His wife has gone missing. Nobody knew what happened to her, and he finally disclosed to you that, yeah, he was married.
Mm-hmm.
But did he say, oh, I'm married, but, or create any excuse?
Well, yeah, he was very tearful and, sorry that, he hadn't told me, but it would be the first holidays without her. And so it was a very emotional show.
Now, did he seem to be able to bring the tears on fairly easily? Was that part of his act?
Well, I think that was the only time I'd ever seen him, emotional or, tearful. So it was, I had nothing to go by.
Right.
So
his wife is missing, and actually it's a vigil for the missing, and people didn't know. I mean, we were all watching at home in our living room saying, I wonder what happened, with concern. Mm-hmm. Should we drive up there and help? Sir, you always have that feeling, even if you don't know the people. And I guess only one person in the world knew where she was, and that was Scott Peterson. But he just carried on with the act. And finally it was disclosed to you that he was married and his wife was missing, and you began cooperating with the police and actually recorded phone calls. And after he even knew that you knew, and I guess he knew you were cooperating with the police?
Well, I came out with the Modesto Police Department, so it was pretty clear.
But then he kept calling you, trying to...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you didn't...
Even that day. Well, even after, yeah. He called on my way up and then after, so it was... Up and back.
And were both of those recorded?
Yes.
And did he call on a cell phone, and you had a button on your cell phone to record? Or he called you on your cell phone?
Yeah, pretty much wherever he called from, I was able to record our conversation, so.
And now, so once he knew that you knew, you're on your way to a press conference, and he knew you were on your way, did he try to explain it or say it'll be okay? Or?
No, he was just saying how brave I was and that he was, sorry I had to go through this, and yeah.
And at some time, and I hate to ask you to speculate, but you're closer to this case than probably anybody will ever get to talk to. I mean, did they at some point say, his wife must be dead?
Well, I think in any investigation, that's something that's out there. So, I mean, it was in conversation something that was said, yeah.
We, watching, we all kept hope that maybe here's the scoundrel, she just ran away. And she just left him, and she saw the light, and she just needed to get away by herself. Was there that feeling that maybe that was a possibility, that she had just got away, or did people feel early on?
She was, she had a good group of close friends. She was close with her family. So I obviously didn't know her personally, but from, knowing where she came from in her home, that wouldn't even be anything that would cross anyone's mind.
She had plenty of places to turn.
Absolutely.
She wouldn't have been the one who just ran away from it all. And so I guess fairly early on, maybe not everybody accepted it, but a lot of people accepted there must be some foul play.
I think it was not even a question in either of the families' mind that there was until I came out. Then definitely there was some change.
Now, I think we have some news footage from the time. Do we have something like that, Sean? Let's run that. Can we turn it up so we can hear it in here too?
It's good. I'm just, everyone's in this bar now, so I came out of an alley. Quiet alley. Is that nice?
Yeah, it is. I can hear you. Very good.
It's pretty awesome. Fireworks and everything. The Eiffel Tower. People all playing American rock songs.
From Scott Peterson's mistress to blushing bride, Amber Frey got married yesterday in California. People magazine was the first to break the story, and Larry Sutton, senior editor of the magazine, joins us now. Hey, Larry.
Hello.
What can you tell us about Amber Frey's new husband?
Well, I'll tell you, things happen quickly in the world of Amber Frey. She moved to Fresno, California around January of this year. With the kids, was as any mother would be doing, out strolling on the sidewalks, and she bumped into a neighbor, a nice fellow, happens to be a correction guard, a prison officer. They hit it off, and here we are about 6-7 months later, and there was a wedding last night in Lake Tahoe, and Amber Frey is now a married woman.
What kind of a wedding did they have?
And what we're looking for is, I just want to show some video for some of the news footage. And what was interesting is the recording. And could you hear that recording at all?
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember what period that was from? I mean,
That was the light vigil.
the light vigil.
Mm-hmm.
So he was actually, there was a vigil for Lacey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody knew where she was. I guess the vigil was hoping she would come appear. Somebody would find her, that maybe she just took off for a couple of days. And he was so arrogant that he actually called you. And at that time, he was fishing around trying to figure out if you had heard anything, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And you hadn't. You weren't, I mean, a lot of us are busy. We're living, and we don't sit around watching the news all day. This is a news clip I wanted to show from that period of time.
Conversations in Scott Peterson's murder trial. On Monday, Peterson was backed into a corner by his former mistress. Gloria Gomez of our Sacramento station KOVR has more.
In her fourth day in court, Amber Frey, in her secretly recorded telephone conversations, continued to grill Scott Peterson.
You've lied to me since day one.
And he continued to say he would explain later.
I can't give you any answers now.
It was now 3 weeks after Lacey Peterson disappeared. When Peterson called, they read the Bible together.
I outlined a section in Matthew 13.
They quoted Romeo and Juliet.
The poem entitled Juliet.
But did he know? Did he suspect the police who had searched his home twice before these calls were also recording them? He had also consulted a lawyer by then.
He knew all along that she was going to be, in some form, a potential witness. The reason he continues to talk to her is that, in a sense, he wants to keep her as an ally. He doesn't want her to be the angry, spurned girlfriend going to the police.
And I remember late at night when you said, Amber, no matter what, or when I say you're beautiful, I don't just mean, you're physical, but your beauty inside.
At that point, Lacey Peterson's mother, Sharon Rocha, left the courtroom and did not return for the rest of the day. Still to Amber Frey, he divulged bits and pieces about how he might be feeling about his unborn son.
The baby. A baby. Lacey's baby. On the tape telephone calls, Scott never says our baby.
When it came to his house, he refused to say it was his. Peterson also said he told his wife about Amber after their first date. Some theorize he's trying to send Amber Frey a message that his marriage was not picture perfect and that a future with another woman was a possibility. Gloria Gomez for CBS News, Redwood City, California.
Wow, there was a lot of news coverage at that time. Now, you said something earlier about the recordings that sometimes they were speeded up. So, because there was a slider on there to speed up or slow down. And
Right, and I didn't realize that until after many recordings that it was like high speed.
now, if anybody, there's a few innocent. I mean, there's a lot of victims here. Of course, Lacey and her unborn child, Lacey's parents, and of course you. And that's why there's news stories. Oh, his mistress. Well, there's no way. There's nothing like that.
No, I think it's an ignorant statement when you look at the definition of mistress. It's just an ignorant statement, and a lot of people have phrased my involvement as that, and it's far from the truth.
You're a young girl, single mom, kind of a romantic, hoping in your life that you would meet somebody, you know, that you could spend the rest of your life with and share your life, and that's how you entered the relationship, and that's how it was represented to you. So
Absolutely.
the idea even to say
He was
mistress was appalling that they would say
Absolutely
that.
it
So.
is. Yeah.
And you would know, one would know that if you read the book. A great book. I know I'm pushing. We have to take another break. Sean's signaling go to the break, but I had my son Cameron check on Amazon.com. It's still out there. I don't remember where I bought it. I think I bought it the week it came out. So do you remember if it sold a lot that first week?
You know, I don't know the numbers, but it was #1 New York Times bestseller for several weeks.
Right. And I know I published some music, and it sells all over the world, and I get a big check like once a year, maybe for $6 or something like that. But the residuals are nice, and they keep coming in. We have to go to the break. We'll be right back with Amber Frey after these messages from our sponsors.